Hello everybody, it's Dana Sullivan, the Stampin' Chick here with day 5 of the 13 days of Halloween treats. How are you today, my friends? I hope you're having a fabulous Monday. Thank you all so much for being patient with me over the course of the weekend. I have been away doing Stampin' in the Smokies very first demonstrator exclusive retreat this weekend. We had so much fun. There were a lot of wonderful people there and we had a great time. We learned new things, tried new things, and we got to do a shoebox swap too. So it was a lot of fun and I'm so excited about it. But now today it's time for me to be back here with you in the Stampin' Studio. So I'm going to show you today's super adorable little Halloween treat. Okay, so this is day 5. Now, as you can see, I am still using the Tricks and Treats Stampin' Die bundle. Now, you may be wondering why I'm using the same bundle so much, and it's because I want to give you a terrific variety of projects to do with each of your bundles, right? I want you to get the biggest bang for your buck. I want you to be able to have a lot of variety and a bunch of different ways that you can use all of the things in the stamp set. So we have used the Frankenstein, we've used the haunted house, and now we're using the little Dracula guy. So we're actually using different parts of the stamp set itself and the different dies also. So today we're going to be using the little Dracula guy's head, and we're using the super cute label, and of course the trick or treat sentiment here. This is a super fun little gift box because, let me just leave that right there. Okay, so it has a little opening here, like, you know, Dracula. He brings his hand and his cloak up over his face, and then he opens it up, and there's a spot for you to write a cute little note, and it shows his little vest and everything. He's so dressed up nicely, isn't he? And then it's a fun little trick too, because it's got an icky, gross cockroach. So much fun. Look at this. This guy just pops right on out of there. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make the treat holder and all of the different elements. And I'll show you too how to make the little pop-up cockroach. Okay, now I got these little guys, I think at Walmart. It was a whole bag full of them for $1. And I thought, you know what, this is going to be a lot of fun because these things really do look real from the backside. They're actually really gross looking, but that makes it even more fun, right? So, so I've got my cockroach here, and I have a little piece. Oh, I just dropped it. I have a little piece of acetate. This is actually a little bit thicker. I cut this from the die cut sleeve that we get with the Stampin' dies. So I typically will put my dies in my stamp case along with the stamp set that it coordinates. And I just put it on a magnet sheet in the cover. That way I always have them together. And it just keeps things a little bit more organized for me. I like it that way. So I end up with a lot of the little clear sleeves that these come in. And a lot of times I will use them for different gifts or things like that. But once in a while I will cut one apart so that I have some little bits and pieces. And this is perfect because it's a heavier duty than the regular acetate sheets, so it's really got a nice bounce to it. And that's going to come into play because we want our cockroach to be able to just bounce right up at you, all right? We have that, and that's just a little scrap. It actually doesn't matter too much. It's, you know, 1/4 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch, something like that, about 3/8. And I've got a little black Stampin' Dimensional on one side. This is what's going to hold the cockroach. And then I'm going to use liquid glue on this side to attach it directly to the box itself. So it'll be kind of like this. And that's literally all the mechanism is. Super simple, right? Okay. For the cardstock pieces, the base itself is a 5.5 by 3 3/4 inch card base. This is basic black cardstock, and I have it scored at 1 1/8 inch all the way around. So I scored 1 1/8, 1 1/8, 1 1/8, 1 1/8, and now I have the base of my box. And then I have another piece that measures 5 3/4 by 3 1/4, and this is going to be the wrapper. So this is the body of the box. Okay, and then I have cut 2 of the labels in black and 1 of the labels in white, and this will make the body of our Dracula friend. And I've got a face part die cut and ready to stamp for his head. I have a scrap of basic white cardstock for the trick or treat. This piece is 1 by 1 1/4 inch, and it's scored at a 1/2 inch. This is going to be the hinge for his cape. So it's tucked away back here. You can't see it because it matches our background here. So we've got that. And then you're going to need some pieces of designer series paper. These are going around the wrapper and then on the ends of the box. All right, so this piece is 1 3/8 by 3 3/8. These 2 pieces are 1 inch by 3 1/8. And then these 2 pieces are 1 3/8 inch by 1 inch. Okay, so those are what we're going to need to cover our box. And then of course you're also going to need some of the black and white gingham ribbon from the annual catalog and Memento black ink, and I'm using a sponge dauber to ink up the edges of the paper. So you'll be able to see here the difference between these pieces and this one. It just looks more finished and it looks kind of spookier, doesn't it? So I think especially for the Halloween type projects, it's a really good thing to give it a bit of ink around the edges. And it's super simple to do, so we're just kind of flicking it off the edge just a bit. Okay, nice and easy. We'll do this first because we want to let it dry just a minute beforehand so we don't smear the ink everywhere. And generally speaking, that's all over the white pieces. Okay, I'll set that sponge dauber aside. I'm going to set that aside. And while I have the ink out, I'm going to go ahead and grab my trick or treat stamp. And I don't have my Pierce mat over here because I still have my things packed. So I'm going to tell you how I do this. If you don't have the Stampin' Pierce mat, you can use a little notebook or notepad or something like that. Anything that's got just a little bit of give is fine. And we'll set that there. Let me have my ink, please. All right. As always, when you're inking up your stamp, tap, 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 not smush, smush, smush. Make sure we've got some good ink on there. And this is going to fit pretty much exactly right in the middle. I don't need it to have a lot of room because I'm going to be cutting around it. So I didn't give it any extra space. Okay, we'll set that aside. And then we'll bring in Dracula's head. And again with the ink, tap, 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 not smush, smush, smush. And let's see if I can do this without getting my face in the way. There we go. Not too shabby. Okay, now then, let me close that up so I don't get it everywhere. Now that we've got all of our stamping done, we can get to assembling our box. Okay, with any box, you want to make sure that you burnish all of your lines really good and crisp, because a rounded box doesn't look nearly as nice as a really nice crisp squared box. Okay, so we're going to do that. Now, this is a standard box base, So we have the 4 squares in the corners, and I'm going to cut right between the square and the rectangle and make little tabs. I like to miter them just a little bit so I can get rid of any excess. I'll come to this side, trimming up between the two and giving it a miter. Okay, and I might need to trim that one up a little bit more because I see I was right on the score line. Okay, so typically I like to cut just at the edge of the score line on the rectangle side, so that way I'm keeping a nice straight edge and it gets the score line off of it. And then up to the corner, just like that for the miter. And again, this last one. Here we go. Alright, let's get this out of the way. And then I'm going to put some glue on all 4 of the tabs. I like to make sure that I get glue close to the score line but not over it, because I don't want the tab to separate from the wall of the box. Then we'll come in here and we'll just square it up nicely. Make sure it's even. Okay, like that. A nice little press. Good to go. Oh, missed it. Come here, friend. There we go. Alright, just like that. Nice and easy. And this one. Alright, there we go. Now then, I have this strip, and you can do this one of 2 ways. I have some score measurements for you that you can do on the long side. They are at 1 inch, 2 1/8, 3 5/8, and 4 3/4. And that will get you relatively to the edges of the box. But sometimes that doesn't work very well. Sometimes I get it too tight or whatever. I don't know if you have that happen too. So another thing that you can do is just wrap the band around the box itself. Make your score lines that way. I'm going to bring that from that side so I don't smush my box. Okay. And this will give you just a little bit of extra wiggle room so that your wrapper isn't so tight and it won't smush your box up. Okay? So then we come around and just like that. And then we can come back in and burnish those lines square. And you still want to do that because, like I said, it's a box and you want some good crisp edges. Okay. There we go. Now let's double check to make sure it's going to go around our box again. Beautiful. Very nice. We like it. Okay. Very, very nice. All right. Now then, we're going to go ahead and attach our DSP. There's one. see we've got some folks in here. Hello. Feel free to say hello and where you're from. I'm happy to have you here with me this evening. I know there are other things you could be doing, but I'm glad that you've decided to spend it here with me doing the days of Halloween treats. I really enjoy making these things. They're so much fun. And then what do I do with them once I have all of these treats done? Because I have 2 sets of everything, right? And I live out in the country, so I don't have trick-or-treaters where we live. And our babies are grown, so they don't need anything. So what do I do with them? I take them out in public with me, and anytime I go somewhere and I see someone who's being nice, or especially, you know, a kid that's being polite, I absolutely love it when a young man is being polite and holding the door. Quit getting crooked. Or a little young lady, you know, just a kiddo having some good manners. I like to reward them. So, of course, I ask the parents beforehand to make sure that it's okay to give them a little Halloween treat, because not everyone does Halloween. And if they can't have Halloween, then I have a little bit of regular candy in the bag too, so I can give them a piece of regular candy. So I don't want them to overhear me asking if they can have it, and then mama and daddy tell them they can't have it. You know, that just wouldn't be nice. So we like to make sure that they can have a little treat. Okay, and I'm all about rewarding good behavior, so I think that's the best thing ever. All right, now then, what we want to do is we want to put a tiny thread of adhesive on the outside edge of this side and the inside edge of this side. We don't need much. You see that I barely put any on there because this green glue, it's good stuff, and it really doesn't require very much. Okay, so I'm going to put that over and then bring this one around, and I want it to fit, but I don't want it to be tight. So I'm not squeezing it, I'm just lining it up to make sure that it sits good. Okay, it's very, very cozy and comfy. So you see it still slides pretty well. We want to make sure that it slides good and that we can, oh, I came undone, and that we can get it open and close. So let's do that. Let's hold this down here for just a second so that it attaches better. I'll go ahead and pull that out and really give it a good press. Okay, there we go. All right then, now that we have our little box, super stinking cute, I'm going to grab my ribbon. And I don't know how much there is here. I like to tie it directly from the spool so that way I don't waste any. But I'm going to just bring it around, come here, and I'm coming to the side with it, and then making my bow. Okay, there we go. I got a little too much tail there, but that's okay. I save these long tails. Like this extra here, I'll cut it off right there, and I'll save that for something else. I actually have a little container over here at the side of my station where I put all those little tails, and I really do use them. So this little tiny piece here can be folded over and tucked behind a label so that you have that little look there, and you don't have to use any more of your ribbon. You've already got some right here. You see, so it's super simple. Okay, you get that out of the way. All right, now I've got my ribbon tied around and I've got that done. It's time to make Dracula. I'll show you how to do this. He's really fun. So first of all, we'll come here to the inside, and you can see that I've got this center section. So that is actually right here, and I'm going to bring my paper trimmer in, and I'll just bring my little one so it's a little easier to see. I'm going to line up this corner and this corner so that I can cut that, and it's going to cut this little bit of edge off, but it's going to give me a center section that lines up with the black. Okay, so I'm going to line it up there, line it up here, just like that. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So a little bit there and a little bit there. Okay, and that will give us this center section, which looks very much like a tuxedo, doesn't it? All right, so now let's put this on. And all we're doing is lining it up with the black one, so there's nothing fancy or no special trick here. Just line it up there, and then line it up there. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Dig it. Okay, then I'm going to use some classic matte dots. I'm going to use the little black ones and just put a few of them right there. Okay, let me grab a pokey tool here. We'll try to make them even, but we're not going to worry too much. I mean, really, what kid is measuring and checking to see if they're straight? But we'll do our best here. Okay, I feel like I'm kind of going wonky, so there we go. 3 and 4. Okay, very good. And then we want to put our little Dracula man on dimensionals. So let me grab a couple of those. And the wonderful thing about 3D projects is that you can put as many layers of dimension as you want, because you don't have to stuff it in a card envelope. So it's perfect, right? Okay. Here we go. And here. And then I'm just going to put this right there. Okay. Alright, now that I've got that on, okay, sandwich it down there. I want to put dimensionals on the opposite side of that too, and I'm sandwiching his body along with his head here. So we'll come in here like that. Okay, now that's there. And again with this one. And I'm lining them up best I can, but if I don't get them great, it doesn't matter because it's totally fine. But I just like to try to get them lined up over each other best I can, so that way, if by chance this piece touches the backing of the card base or the box, it's not going to hurt it any. So, alright, now then, before I can do anything more with this, as you can see, I've got his whole body made here, and it's going to go just like this. But we have to put this piece on before we finish up. So we're not going to attach him just yet. We're going to go ahead and burnish this line right here. This is our 1 by 1 1/4 inch strip of cardstock. Okay. And I'm going to put multi-purpose liquid glue on the inside right of this one. And I'm going to line it up just best I can, okay? Something like that. Alright, and then fold it over here. And then I'm going to take liquid glue on this side. And I'm going to take this piece and line it up with the other one. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and just line him up and make sure that we're good. Okay. Now it doesn't have to be exactly exact, but you want it to be pretty close, okay? So now we have his little cape going over and it's all good, right? Alright, now I was supposed to have another one and apparently I don't. So I'm going to skip that part, but you can see here that I have this die cut as well. So you need 2 of the white ones and 2 of the black ones. And I trimmed it down just a little bit because I didn't want it to keep snagging on him. So I made it just a little bit shy of the edge there. And that way it would come over like that. So you can see right here, I trimmed just a little off the edge so that it would open and close easier. Okay. And then for the trick or treat, get these out of the way. I'm just going to trim these apart. And I'm trimming them fairly close to each other. I mean, I don't need them to be, you know, I don't need them to be crazy. They don't need a whole lot of space. There we go. Treat. Treat or trick? Okay. There we go. And then, again, just kind of whittling it down a little bit. And then with this one, also whittling it down just a little bit. Okay, still need to do this part. We don't want it to have too much excess because otherwise it'll look weird that it has excess and the other pieces don't. So it's a little bit small, but we want to do it. All right. Now then, I'm going to take some of my little black dimensionals, and I've mentioned this in one of the other Halloween treat videos, but I really like the black Stampin' dimensionals because they're a combo pack. You can get the regular sized ones and the minis in the same package, which I absolutely love. So we'll go ahead and put trick and treat, and then use the little one for or. Okay, there we go. Now then, where's our trick again? Here we go. And we'll do treat or trick. Yep, there we go. Treat or trick. Okay. Take the backing off. Okay. And I'll kind of leave that one a little more just there. There we go. Like that. And then peel off your dimensional backs. I could have used the black ones for these too. Don't know why I didn't, but it's okay. Ah, come on. You guys ever have trouble getting the backs off of your dimensionals? Sometimes. It makes me crazy. And I've seen the little trick of stabbing it with the take your pick tool, but that doesn't work so well for me sometimes. Alright, now I'm just going to turn this right here, set it right on top, and I have my super cute little blah, blah, blah. Lots of fun, right? Okay, now, we are not finished because that is just the outside of the box. Now then, we need to bring in our little cucaracha. So I'm going to grab my cockroach and this little piece here, and I'm going to go ahead and add a bit of multi-purpose liquid glue right here to the bottom of it. Okay. And then, looks like my DSP wasn't staying on very well either. Okay. And then we're going to stick it right here in the middle-ish of what would be the bottom. We'll just hang on to it for a minute. Okay. There we go. And then we have the ghoulish green Snickers that fits perfectly down in there. And then this piece will just boop like that. So let me put the cockroach on there. Make sure I'm sticking pretty good. There it goes. Okay. Now I want him to kind of right there where he's a little more solid, kind of near the bottom, because I want him to fit inside the box, right? So let me get my adhesive just another second to adhere well. It's going to take just a little bit longer on that plastic piece than it would on 2 pieces of paper, but that's okay. It really will hold down very nicely. So as you can see with this one is done the same way, and it's attached perfectly. So very nice, lots of fun. The girls at the retreat had a great time with it this weekend. They were having a lot of fun showing each other the cockroach in the box, which was so entertaining. All right, so there we go, and then we'll carefully kind of hold him over. Now he's not folded because we want him to bounce back just like that, right? So we want to just kind of hold him over and then tuck him in, and that way when we push the box he goes, ah! Well, if I didn't push the whole thing out. Let's try that again. All right, he'll go, ah! As you can tell, I love Halloween, maybe just a little bit too much. I really enjoy making all of these fun little treats, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed this super adorable little trick-or-treat holder as well. I think this is a fairly simple project to do, and I think anybody would absolutely love to have it. So these are going to be so much fun. I'm already thinking about who I can give them to spook them just a little bit. Oh my goodness, this is exciting. All right, folks, thank you so much for hanging out with me this evening. Remember, the Tricks and Treats Stampin' Die Bundle is what's made this project and that super cute gift bag. Remember, I used this. And anyway, a lot of fun, fabulous products, and you can get it all for free shipping with every purchase of $75 or more. So it's wonderful. You get free shipping, which is fantastic. That's like $8 worth of shipping, which is awesome. So anyway, if you guys like what you see, you can head over to my website to check it out. And if you have any questions, as always, you can leave a comment down below. And otherwise, I will talk to you all tomorrow at 8 p.m., my friends. I will see you then. Have a good night. Bye for now.